Studio mode is what I need.
This might be a good day. Chiefs win. The Cardinals win. Oh, I hear noise. This might be a good day.
All right, that's
Chiefs
always
win,
important.
the
I see
Cardinals
Bongo
win.
saying hello,
Oh.
so
I hear noise. And no echoing. So we're good,
important things.
right?
As
You know,
my
if you're bored of
great
the echo.
uncle Olaf used to say, Robin, take your pants down and let's begin.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all are listening to the Overseas Connection podcast.
Shut up and sit down.
Here we go!
Would you kindly?
I think we're just getting started.
Medic! I'm a witcher.
I think this is more than you can handle.
He sits on his ass all day.
Let's do this.
Well, hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to episode 751 of the Overseas Connection podcast. Today is September 17th, 2023. And hey, we've got cameras. We are a video game podcast. We talk about all kinds of stuff, but video games is what brings us all together. So if this is your first time ever listening, welcome. Do like and subscribe if you feel, if you feel in it. We would like you to. We're also, just as you should know, we're a little bit of an older podcast. We are more mature. We buy our own beer, and therefore we talk about stuff, again, life stuff, all kinds of stuff, video game centric.
Okay.
We do this every Sunday, 1 p.m. on the West Coast, 4 p.m. on the East Coast, 9 p.m. in the UK. And if you happen to be out in Hicksville, it's 3 p.m. Central Time Zone right now. We are on Twitch. We are on YouTube. We will put out an audio version of this podcast for those of you that can't make it to us live. And I suppose with that all said, I should introduce this fine cavalcade of podcasters. Starting in Nuremberg, the Nuremberg trials, we have Robin Tate.
Hey, everybody.
Robin,
Good evening. I'm back.
Did you successfully defend yourself?
Verstimmerung. I think that means mutilation.
That's
I learned that one.
Okay.
Yeah. I am back.
Kim Woods, also on the podcast.
Yes, I am. Sorry, I'm kind of half-assed keeping my eye on the game as well.
I know. We're both watching football in the side mirrors, if you will.
Right, but I am happy to be here. So
Well, there you go. Happy to have you. And if I didn't mention, Greg DeLacy, Gamertag, Murphy's Law, OC_Murphy's Law on Twitter, or formerly known as Twitter, now X. Hate that name.
Right.
If
call
there's
it
one
Twitter.
mistake Elon Musk has ever made, that is it. Just keep it Twitter. Just keep it
Right?
Twitter.
Yeah, but
Then again-
just to piss people off.
Yeah. At least Facebook was smart, right? They changed the company name to Meta, but they said, well, we'll keep it Facebook. I would have been fine if they wanted to make the company X and just keep it Twitter. Anyway.
I don't know.
All right.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I'm watching my team wanting to give away the game. I don't know where Kim's team is
no.
at, but it's been back and forth, just like last week.
Back
If
and
it
forth.
makes
all
you
right.
feel any better, I
I'm
feel your pain from the last game because that's the way we
Yes.
were. So
It's been a much different feel to the season so far. We're talking
Right?
NFL football for those that don't know, and I suppose we should just get into story time, Robin.
let's do it.
Hooray, story time. Hooray, story time. I'm so glad to be with you today.
That was the storytime dance.
Woo!
Yes, it was.
Oh,
Robin, we're
I
going to
like
save you for last because I have a feeling your story time is going to be bigger than our story times.
Oh, dear.
Probably.
This is not a genetic thing. This is just a life thing.
I went out with a girl called Jeanette.
Kim has a pretty big story time. So Kim,
Yes.
what's going on with you? What's happening in your neck of the woods?
Well, let's see. Tony had a football game yesterday, but it got rained out. Actually, the bigger thing, other than the rain, because I was prepared to sit in the rain and watch Tony play football, but there was lightning, and we were sitting on metal bleachers. I don't want to be a lightning rod, so
That's
anyway,
that's smart.
right. So they called the game. I don't know if they planned to make it up. I don't know how I want to call it Little League, but that's not it. The little kids football. I don't know how they do that, so I don't know if they'll make it up or not. But anyway, it got rained out, so they ended up coming home with me and spending the night. So I guess it wasn't all bad. Speaking of kids, I last week I didn't have any children, so it's been weird getting used to not having kids running around. So I don't know how to feel about any of that. I'm sure I'll get used to it eventually, but it's just very strange at my house at the moment.
Okay.
So there's that. Oh, and on a I guess lighter note, Travis Kelce. If I have one thing to say to you, stay away from Taylor Swift. I don't know what the hell is going on with that girl and why everybody wants to bang her. Maybe she's got beer flavored nipples. But please, for the love of God, stay away from her, because you know all she's gonna do is write a song about you when you break up.
Wow.
So anyway,
I would
Beer
encourage Travis Kelce
flavored
to go after Taylor
nipples is all I heard. Wow. Can you imagine that? Just
now see, okay. Now let's talk about this real quickly, because
okay.
on the surface it sounds like, oh wow, that sounds interesting.
Right.
But in my head I'm thinking stale beer. And
Right.
you know, beer that's been left out
There
for a while,
is
because let's
no
face it,
way
how do
on
you
this-
keep the beer on your tits, you know, fresh?
there is
So-
no way on this
Plastic
earth
bag?
that Taylor's perky protrusions would have stale beer. It would be, what would it be? You know, it wouldn't be, it's not mature enough to be a Michelob. So,
Hey,
I mean,
we-
it would have
we
to be
all
a
thought
light,
the
it's a
same thing
light
about
beer.
Madonna at one
A
point,
light beer.
Britney Spears at one point. So you know,
Yeah.
It
What
happens,
type of beer would come out of Taylor Swift's boobs? It would be light.
Probably
Would it be
something
a Miller,
terrible.
a Miller Light, maybe?
I do feel it would be like a Coors Light.
Yeah.
Definitely not Bud Light.
Yeah.
She's not part of that crowd.
So Lizzo then, what sort of beer would come out of Lizzo's protrusions? Something. It would be like one of those real ales, wasn't it? Wouldn't it be? It would be a heavier beer, thick
Like a
and
Guinness,
yeah, maybe a
There you
Guinness
go.
beer. Yeah,
something dark and heavy.
yeah.
This is going to go down a dark path in a moment. I'm not going to let it do that.
Anyway,
Yes.
that's my 2 cents. Just stay away from Taylor Swift, because dear God, all she's gonna do is break up with you and write a song about it. And, ugh.
dear.
It's nothing worse.
I know, right?
Mm.
Maybe,
All right.
maybe that's the appeal. I don't know.
It could be.
As you can tell, I'm not a Taylor Swift fan, so
Shake it off, dude. I like the policeman in the car that does shake it
out,
off.
not shake it off, Robin. Shake it out.
Shake it off, is it not?
Totally. I'm pretty sure it's
Shake it off.
You want me to shake it off? I don't know.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
that shows you what kind of Taylor Swift fan.
Yeah,
I
there's
am.
the
Right,
the
right.
YouTube video of the police sheriff, the top one of the whatever it was, captain, and he's driving around his community, and he knows all the lyrics. He's an older gentleman, knows all the lyrics, and he's doing shake it off, and then when a person drives past him, narrow roads, he just calm waves. Drives past, shake it off. He does the whole rap thing, and then just and then
wow.
waves casually. It's brilliant. You must look it up. It's really fun. It's really funny, really good. I think he had his 15 minutes of fame over that, because the car recorded it. Anyway, there you go.
All right.
Yeah.
Real quickly, we did skip over birthdays because
Yes.
they weren't registered yet in the notes,
Oh.
but we do want to say a happy birthday to Kevin Knight,
Give it.
having his
Happy
birthday on the
birthday.
18th tomorrow.
Yish.
Ish. Do we know if it's
No,
for sure
that was
ish? or-
a yish. Yes.
Ish? All right. Kevin turning 78 tomorrow,
Yes.
or
Oh, wow.
47. There's a doubling effect sometimes. It happens.
Gotcha.
Sorry, what?
I don't know.
Hopefully, it never happens to me.
That's
Sometimes,
80.
Robbie, you just got to let it go.
That's 90.
Hey, Lewis Danson also having a birthday on the
Your math ain't
22nd.
good.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Lewis, I
He
can't
could be
believe
69 or 33.
Yeah.
You choose.
Lewis. I've met Lewis. Must be 10 years ago, and he was just a nipper back then. Well, I took you as older. You're a more mature.
Now
gentleman.
he's a little nipper with maybe a couple grays.
Right.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Insert name here. Happy birthday to you.
Gentleman is not recognized.
Fuck yeah.
Bongo is
All
on
right.
fire today. Let me tell you.
Robin's got the energy.
He does.
High
does.
energy.
Hey, speaking of energy, Halloween prep in this house has begun.
Oh wow.
Yes, they're the theme is, well, I shouldn't say it's requiring, but it is now incorporating some made from scratch decoration elements, which originally were supposed to be simple.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the course of doing the how-to DIY videos on YouTube
about boats,
a certain party in this house discovered a, in quotes, better way of doing it.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
oh,
Oh.
We single-handedly are using so it incorporates plastic wrap.
Kinky.
nice.
Sure, that's one
Shrink.
way to look at it. Probably not, but more importantly,
Shrink wrap her car. Shrink wrap her car.
pretty sure we are now a major cause of the giant floating island of plastic. We will be contributing to that. Yeah. Anyway, I will reveal more on the Halloween trek. But
Excellent.
for now, just know, last night we were up till midnight.
Holy moly.
Ooh. Did you
Yeah.
have? You had special permission?
And the worst part is, we maybe got half done of what we wanted to get done. That's the real killer.
But when is the great reveal? I mean, is it the 1st of October or when?
No, it'll be probably 2 weeks into October. That's
Okay.
my thinking.
Well, you have
when
time.
We'll be able to.
You have time.
Yeah. Colin had a big seizure on
Yes.
Thursday. That was no fun. And so that ended up having him stay home from school, and just kind of throws your day off. It throws your day off. It is mentally draining in the moment, because we kind of woke up to all of it happening. But he's fine. Fortunately, we have the rescue medication for him that works. And so we were able to pull him out of his big seizure, but it then just wipes him out. And so, I
Poor lad.
spent basically Thursday watching over him and somewhat paying attention to work. But yeah,
He's having too much of a hard time, that young fella.
he's a trooper. He's bounced back. He's playing now. He's out having fun in the living room. And so all is well on that front. Car quirks. So we bought our new Acura RDX. And I will say this, as much as I love the Acura RDX, I do question Acura because they've stuck with this infotainment center.
What did you call it again?
That
RDX.
infotainment center.
RDX.
Yeah, Acura RDX.
So
we got the
Acura cars are not really a thing over here.
Yes, I know. But so we have the A spec. It's a pretty red
GB thing,
but
okay, very nice.
They have this infotainment center, and it's very so. Most people have gone to either touchscreens or some kind of easy navigation knobs to get around the information center.
Yeah, you like a good knob. Yes.
Yeah, everybody loves a good knob. For whatever reason, Acura, and they've stuck with this through all their models, all the way up through past 2023.
Somebody bought a
This
lot of stuff.
touchpad that you control everything through a touchpad that's in the center console.
Oh.
There's no shift knob in this car, so it's all buttons. So drive, reverse, they're all buttons, which still getting used to.
Huh.
This car came with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, which was great because it would just wirelessly connect up. The problem is, because this is my wife's car, and this is going to be her kind of daily driver for the most part. She is not the most attuned with technology. And this touchpad, this is no knock against her. This is a knock against Acura. The touchpad's just not intuitive. It's very difficult to control to try and get to navigating screens, especially while you're driving. It literally is requiring you to take your eye off of driving to figure out what you're navigating to on this little 8-inch screen in the center console area. So we also discovered that when you go into the Android Auto for the Acura, it will not recognize if you button push anything on your phone. And the keypad
it's crap.
entry, again, it's crap. It's using this touchpad, which is just nonsense. So I ended up killing Android Auto in the car and just connect everything up through Bluetooth. This way she can do all of her Bluetooth audio. She still can use her phone if she needs to do a button press prompt, that kind of thing. Problem solved. It also has a built-in navigation system, so I was kind of like, well, at least now that will be useful. We don't
Right.
have to worry about Android Auto. We can utilize the inboard navigation. However, upon setting our home as the home address, it said you're using an outdated version of navigation, which I did realize because it was trying to tell me that the freeway I was driving on was a 45-mile-an-hour speed limit, and that's an outdated map. So to update the map, I have to go to the Acura website, download the map update on a USB stick, and then put that in the car. So there's some quirks to this car. These are some of the things I don't like. Overall, though, driving the car is just a load of fun. It's very peppy, fast. It's got a turbocharged engine, so it kicks up real quick. And it's a mid-size SUV, not a mid-size SUV. It's a small SUV crossover vehicle. So overall happy, but a couple little pain points. But yeah, so that was me.
Okay.
Indeed. Hello, Boomer in the chat. And that leads us to Robin.
Okay.
Robin, there are news reports out that you were sent to Nuremberg for trials. So we need to clear this up. Help us out. What happened this past week? Why were you off the podcast last week?
Well,
and why did you leaving the podcast screw up the cameras? Because apparently that was your fault.
Right, okay, probably blame everything on me. Well, it's a change. I mean, it's usually Mark, but yeah, a while back, Joshua, my eldest, said, "Oh, there's this thing on the Nürburgring, which is a race circuit in Germany, outside a place called
Not the trials. Okay.
no, outside a place called Cologne, and it was a GT3 race." Two races, 2 6-hour long races, one on Saturday and one on Sunday. But the extra little thing was on the Saturday, there was a special Red Bull event, and the GT3 cars are the cars I race in ACC. But there was a special Red Bull event on, and they had some Formula One cars there, and some ex-world champions like Sebastian Vettel, and David Coulthard was there, and some other top guys, and then some of their world famous drift cars and motorcycle stunts. So from 10 in the morning of Saturday until 2 in the afternoon, they were doing all sorts of stuff with these. So there's the Nürburgring, which is a 2.5 mile, 3 mile circuit, but it is also attached to this thing called the Nordschleife, and the Nordschleife is nearly 30 miles long. Yeah, it's long.
Okay.
And the GT3 cars for their 6-hour race were using the whole circuit, which is, I mean, a lap is 8 minutes long. And Formula One cars do not race on that big long circuit. It's too dangerous. But the Red Bull guys had the older Formula One cars, the ones that scream at 19,000 revs. They were doing demonstration laps on this big circuit, and it was sort of access all areas, and that was brilliant to hear those cars, to get so close. Got some nice photographs, some nice video, and that was great. And Joshua really loved that. He actually met some friends from London that had been at that big Star Wars event, and he hooked up with them as well. But the event itself was awesome. You see about Formula One, and it's so guarded and it's so closed off, and Boomer. 60 hours in Starfield. We'll get there. We could get into every single one of the stadiums. We got into the pit garages where the guys were working on the cars. We were there when a pit stop was ongoing. It was just awesome. Now, a massive YouTuber, a guy called Jimmy Broadbent, who is probably the biggest of the racing streamers. Very funny guy. He does lots of funny racing stuff. He has stepped over from being a just YouTuber to the last 2 or 3 years has been racing, and he was actually racing in the GT3 races. And on the second day, on the Sunday morning, we done the grid walk right up the middle of the grid, the starting grid, walked up to his car, and I was talking to Jimmer for 5 minutes or so and got my photograph taken with him, and that was just awesome. Getting there, on the other hand, was a bit of a challenge, because when we arrived, our flight coming into Cologne was a couple of hours late, and at Dublin Airport, I was phoning the car hire company, dollar, dollar American company.
Dollar
to
rent a
say,
car.
but, well, usually when you book it, you can put your flight number and stuff in. But I was phoning ahead to the desk to say, look, our flight is late. We're going to be a couple of hours. I know you close at 11 o'clock at night. We'll be in there by about 10 past. That was, yeah. No one answered the phone.
10 past 11?
Yeah.
Or 10 past? Okay.
10 past 11. No one answered the phone. Phoned, got on the plane. We arrived in Cologne. The idea was we were going to stay in a hotel in Cologne that night and then drive to Nürburgring the next morning. So that was Friday night. And when we rushed to the airport, got to all the car hire places, there was about 8 of them. All of them were closed, bar one, which wasn't ours. And of course, and then we had to go and get a taxi 8 miles to the hotel and then get a taxi back in the morning. And of course, we intended to be at the circuit for 8 o'clock in the morning, and Saturday morning, car hire place didn't open to 9. We were there at 8:30, hoping that they would be early. 9 o'clock comes, nobody's there. The car hire place next, this girl goes, my friend and my colleague in Dollar, she's in traffic. She'll be here in 10 minutes. 20 to 10 in the morning, this girl arrives, Wendy. And I goes, hey, Wendy. Oh, so sorry, I was stuck in traffic. Right. Well, we're late for an appointment. Says we were supposed to be here last night. And, your car's gone. I said, I'm so pardon, what? She says, well, I don't have a car for you. Your booking was for last night. I says, hold on. What happened between 11 o'clock last night and 9 o'clock this morning, and you're only arriving now? Where did my car go? Oh, we don't have one. It's gone. Says, you haven't even switched your computer on yet, and you know it's gone.
Right.
He says, look, I tried to phone last night and tell you that I was going to be a little bit late, and I'm sure you would have accommodated me waiting 10 minutes. I'm sure you would, something could have been arranged. Oh, right. Well, there was just one guy on the desk last night, and he must have been busy and didn't answer the phone. And I go, what? He says, it'll be a few hours, and I might be able to get you a car.
Oh no.
I says, like, it's now 9:45 in the morning. We were supposed to be at an event at 8 that starts at 9. We're now, you've messed it up. Oh well. So I was Robin.
Right.
And I wandered down, and Sixt were down there. Sixt, another company, SIXT.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I went, hey mate, do you have anything now? Right now? I said, well, let me see. Yeah, I have one. And this is how much it is. Double what I was paying for the other one.
Right.
He says, right, I'll take it. He says, okay, great stuff. Can you have it back by Monday morning by 10:30? Yep, no problem. I'm your man. So I pulled out the card, got my key, and off I went, and walked past and went, I got sorted elsewhere. Your company will be hearing from me. So now, I didn't pay an awful lot, but I've used Dollar before, and they've generally been very good, but that was really, really poor. Anyway, Nice surprise. We went down into the parking lot.
Hey, real fast.
Yeah.
Speaking of nice surprises, hold on. We got to just acknowledge a couple of things happening in the chat. Lewis jumps into the chat to just talk nonsense. So there's that.
Right.
But hello, Lewis. But also, Sarah, RCGC.
Right.
Oh, wow. Hi, Sarah. How you doing, kid?
Just wanted to acknowledge that before we went any further.
Lovely.
All right.
Lovely. Well,
continue on. Hey, real fast, Robin.
Yes.
So I need to get a full spectrum of this because this is a very odd thing. So the airport, does it shut down at like 11 o'clock or something?
It's a big Cologne airport's big enough.
Or is it an international airport and flights come in all the time?
Yeah, there was a couple of car hire places still open, and I thought, well, frig it, we are late. I'll come early in the morning, get it 9 o'clock.
I would have just been
done
fuck that. That's nonsense.
No, but at every step, it was just ineptitude and unprofessional. From the moment she arrived late, didn't apologize, the whole kit and caboodle, and then straight away, don't have anything for you.
Excuses. And then between now and last night when we closed, and your car should have been sitting there because it was reserved for last night.
Yep.
That somehow it had disappeared.
Yep.
Is absolutely ridiculous. That tells me that whoever was on the desk last night, that one person, probably rented out your vehicle to somebody else that showed up last minute, and then he said, fuck it, I'm closing up, so this way the guy can't come here and complain to me.
I have a strongly worded email have been sent off.
Yeah.
So Anyway, so when we got down to the parking lot, I had what did you call it? A crossover Jeep thing? That sort of like the car you have just bought. And it was a car I had brand I have never heard before and will never appear in America, I am quite sure. It's a BYD.
A BYD, bring your own door?
Bring your dreams, I think it is, or build your dreams is what it said on the back of the car.
BYD.
A BYD.
Interesting.
And this thing was fully electric.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, now the guy on the desk said, where are you going? I said, well, I'm going to the Nürburgring. He says, it's about 90 kilometers there, 90 kilometers back, a wee bit in between. You'll be fine. You won't need to charge it. It's fully charged. Good stuff. Do you want to pay the extra €6 so you don't have to bring it back charged? Yep, no problem. I'll do that. So this thing was lovely. All leather interior, big screen that could go portrait or whatever.
Right.
When you started it up, the sound of birds. Tweet, 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 tweet. Every time you started the car up. I'm sure there was lots of features. It went like shit off a blanket. It was beautiful to drive. We got down.
Corazon, by the way, confirming that is a Chinese make of vehicle.
Yes,
by the way, Corazon in the chat.
Hey,
Also,
Corazon. Hey, buddy.
Rob in the chat. But Rob, shut up. Shut up, Rob. Okay, continue on.
You want me to shut up?
I just have it,
Oh, okay. So yeah, that's why I'm saying you'll never see that car in America. So because it's Chinese.
Okay.
Yeah, beautiful to drive. Very, very nice.
It's run by the Chinese. What are you talking about?
Yeah, yeah, very, very nice. Now, on the last night, we were down to 30% charge or 20%. No, 10% charge. 10% charge.
Ooh, that's so now getting nervous.
So where we were staying was in the middle of nowhere. It was Nürburgring is this fantastic facility, hotels, a casino, beautiful, in the middle of nowhere, little roads to it. And we stayed in this little tiny village about 15 miles away in this beautiful apartment, just really tiny, lovely little village, but nothing in it. No fast chargers, no petrol stations. In fact, we tried to buy groceries on Sunday evening as we came home. We're going to do a pizza at home or something, and every shop, no shops open, nothing, everything closed. But the cable for the car wouldn't reach to their outside port, and I had to get an extension lead from the landlord lady. She was very Greta.
I've heard sometimes you have a short cable.
Yes, so. Short fuse. Anyway, I looked at it, said 34 hours to fully charge. So overnight it got from 10% to 35%, which was enough to get us back and everything.
34 hours to fully charge?
On your ordinary plug socket,
okay,
not a fast, ordinary, 13 amp plug socket. But it was lovely. It was very, very, very cool. I was very impressed with that. Now, sausages, my diet when I was away was terrible because you're in the circuit and there's these concessions, and it was beer, which was good. And you could have fries and bratwurst.
Fries and bratwurst.
Yeah, or like schnitzel in a burger. So you could have a big sausage in like a hot dog.
All right.
What
is schnitzel, by the way? I honestly don't know this answer.
It's like a beat up chicken battered, like a battered chicken fillet. That's sort of it.
Yep.
Yeah. Right. You can have all sorts of schnitzel, but in a burger. Or you could have currywurst, which was the weirdest thing. So we had on Saturday we had this with nice fries and dog, and then on the Sunday we had currywurst just to change it up a bit, and it's like that same big hot dog, Frankfurter, put in the machine, which they don't chop it by hand. It's chopped into equal pieces, and this curry sort of gravy, and then this magic powder sprinkled over the top of it. It's almost sweet.
Magic powder.
Magic powder. It made it sweet. I'm sure it was curry powder, but it was a weird thing. And it was good.
The dietary description right now it's been interesting, Robin.
Yeah, right.
Now, since I came back from Italy, I had got on far too much weight, far too heavy. I've taken off almost 11 pounds since Italy, since I came back, and I continue. I have another 11 pounds, but I can start to get my face back again, and things are starting to fit once more. But that was got a bit crazy. That didn't help. But I'm being sensible and having tea and trying not to eat between meals and cut the drink down a little bit. So, okay. So it was a fantastic trip. Germany was good. That was my first real time in Germany. I've been over to trade shows, but never been in. It was a lovely place. It was very nice. The Autobahn was cool. It's not full throttle all the way, but there are parts of it where you can go flat out completely, but then all of a sudden you're in traffic, but that was fun. Okay, purchases. I bought a couple of these. Bing, bing, bing.
Light Air.
Yeah, these are Elgato key lights. It's a light. Several.
It's a very big light. It's not just a little light. That's a big light.
Yeah, it's here. I've got one here.
Okay.
Hello.
All right.
Flat panel.
Gotcha.
And it can be controlled by your phone or the computer or your Steam Deck. And it stops that circly light, and it's a nice. You can control the temperature, and it's very nice. And it was one of the things I was lacking for the sim setup. So those have came. They're not cheap, but they're good. There's a bigger one again, but I didn't need the bigger ones again. And so I'm heading back to Germany in a couple of weeks' time, and I'm going to my sim racing expo.
Trial.
So yeah, in Dortmund. So I fly into things Dusseldorf this time, and drive up another car, and then up to Dortmund. So I got some business cards printed, and they have arrived this week. So they're quite nice glossy cards. The Bongo Racing, and I put my name on the back. And look at this, a QR code.
QR code, yeah,
which takes you to bongosbits.com, which is kind of cool. Away it goes, because the little website that I built now is up and going.
I don't know if we need to talk about the elephant in the room yet.
Yeah.
But I noticed on a race video that you were racing in a non-green vehicle. Did I see that correctly? No? Maybe it was just a blue vehicle that was just there as part of the imagery.
I don't know.
Like
one of the thumbnails.
Yeah.
Okay, well that was the winner of the race that night. That was
okay.
Dave Mack from Scotland.
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought for a moment when I saw it, I was like,
the real thing. That was the Coca-Cola red color. Yeah, and I used the term in the commentary of the real thing. So yes, that wasn't me. That was him. Yeah, I'm funny. I have commissioned another set of Bongo Racing liveries. One of the problems with having so many green cars on the track, even though they have a little flare, so mine's all green.
Right.
No? Yeah. And somebody has pink and somebody has blue, and yellow. Is that when you're behind somebody, it all looks pretty similar. So I've asked the design company to come up with something that's still in theme, but there is a stronger highlight or whatever it may be. So
maybe a nice pink racing stripe down the middle,
something like that. Yes, actually, yeah, like the GT, that sort of thing. Yeah, so that's the sort of idea. So we're working on those for next season already. So yes, that was good. So yes, middle of, I think it's the 12th, I think around of October, we're off to the big sim racing expo, and that should be kind of cool. And people will be queuing up to get my autograph and stuff like that.
Fantastic. Kim, look forward to that. October 12th, we will not have cams.
What happened? Why?
Yeah, I don't know what happened last week. So we were getting set up, and I hadn't fiddled around enough with my OBS setup to really make it my setup. There's a lot of bits that you use, and it threw me off. I'm just going to throw that through. It's the best way I could put it. And so I ended up having just these weird, like Kim's camera disappeared off the screen, and for the life of me I could not bring it back in. We didn't have enough time, and I just said fuck it, we're just doing the show live. So
Boomer, I have the flag. I'm gonna try not to be politically frigate. I have
Northern Irish.
I have the Ulster flag on my car, or the Northern Irish flag. It depends what side of the community you're from. I have the Northern Ireland flag on my car. And the Bongo racers that come along and they get a livery, they pay a little bit extra, and they can have their name on the car and their own flag. They can have the Scottish flag or whatever it is. We have Madagascar. They've got a guy from there now, but it's really strange. All the people from all over the world. It's kind of cool. So that's that. So yeah, had a big meeting with the directors on Friday, under the guise of we're going to look at some stores, and we looked at 2 or 3 stores, and we went for lunch, and then we had a big conversation, and I kind of cleared the decks with them. So
the conversation,
Yeah, it's just like, yeah, we want you to do this new contract, and going, no, because that's how much I earned over the next 5 years, and you want me to do all that, and you want me to do that for over 5 years for an extra 10 grand over 5 years? No.
Did you put in a bongo clause?
A bongo clause? What is that?
I need racing time every week.
I do.
Scheduled. Wouldn't that be great? Renegotiate your contract. Say, okay, you want me to do
every
this for an extra
Friday
10K,
to racing. Yeah.
But then every Friday.
The problem is with that, I also need a bongo clause with subsection 3. Judith agrees to doing this because Robin's at home here. He could be doing stuff. The final thing I'll say, which brings Judith right into this, is because we've been changing around, we've got all the rooms decorated, or hall, stairs, landway, well, moving around. Charlie's moved downstairs. Jasmine's in her own room for the first time last night. We've got new foster kids in Charlie's old room. Judith bought lots of new furniture from a company called Wayfair. I think they're pretty big. They're
Wayfair.
big.
Yep.
Know that well.
Okay.
Yep.
It's like posh IKEA, right?
Yes.
So
that's a perfect description.
So there was bedside table arrived. There was a chest of drawers arrived. There was a chest of drawers with a wardrobe arrived. All flat pack.
Yep.
So pretty much every night this week, I have been fucking building flat pack gloss black furniture. And although I like Lego,
yeah,
I had
it's
enough
different.
of this. I didn't.
Yeah.
Now, okay, so I'm going to take a step back. We said posh IKEA. I actually would like to put a different spin to it. I think it's expensive, not quite IKEA.
I would
and
agree
here's
with
what
that.
I mean.
Yeah.
It's all very nice furniture or nice-ish. Sometimes you get some real crap because of depending upon who they're bringing in as their suppliers. But they don't have the IKEA standard of
Instructions.
assembly. Yeah. So
Right.
sometimes you get really nice, clean, clear instructions, and other times you get instructions that were designed for somebody not from this country.
My kryptonite here was the drawer runners. So you put on these metal bars. So there's two of them, and there's left or right or right or left, and they have to be a certain way. And on two pieces of furniture, you think I'd learned from the first one, I had to take them all off again and swap them around, left, right, left. And you always look at something.
There's nothing worse. At least you'd recognize it somewhat early in the build, Rob. There's nothing worse than getting
Putting
to
it
like
all
the last
together.
stages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you've tapped in 50 nails to the back to put the back
Those
thing
stupid
in.
wooden dowels.
Oh
Yep,
yeah,
yep.
yeah. Anyway, it's all built now, thank goodness, and that's that done. Oh yeah. So yeah, that's me. So it's been active, busy. I've got a massive thing with work on Thursday. I've got people coming in from Germany to help me with a big presentation for one of my big clients on Thursday morning. So I'll be doing a Wednesday for that, and I'm down for it was put back a week for my presentation for being with Martin Food Equipment for 20 years. And they're taking me out for a meal on Wednesday evening and giving me a voucher for something and a meal and 3 days extra holidays a year. Whatever that means. And I don't even know how many holidays I have on a normal time.
That's My work, we have instituted an unlimited holiday schedule.
As long as the work's done.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what it boils down to. They're not tracking your days off, but then there's this underlying thing of, well, but tell us when you're going to take a holiday, and it can't really be more than 2 weeks at a time, and so it's just funny how companies work.
Yeah.
They treat.
I think you Americans get so few holidays compared to us over here.
My company's gotten pretty good about recognizing a lot of the. What's the right word to say? A lot of the newly recognized.
Oh, the woke
holidays.
ones, like
Yes.
Daddy needs to get 6 months off after having a baby as well.
I think that's perfectly fine. I would like to retroactivate my 6 months off from 14 years ago, please.
My boss, who's the son of my boss, please don't be listening. So when Charlie was born, when Charlie was born, his father at the time, so this is now 17 years ago, he was on the phone and congratulate me in the hospital. He says, "Yeah, Robin, yeah, good lad. Take a couple of days off, but good lad. Take a few days off there. You don't mind answering the phone. Just if you have to answer a call, take a call. But take a couple of days off. Good, congratulations." 17 years
times have
or
changed.
so 14 years on, his own son, first child. Yeah, he's taken 12 weeks off, and then 2 weeks holidays. And you
Pays to be the big cheese.
Yeah. Anyway, so
right.
yeah, lots going on in Bongoland.
Good. Well, I'm glad you didn't get arrested. I'm glad it wasn't an actual Nuremberg trial. It was concerning for a little bit. Let's shift gears.
Okay.
Let's talk some video games.
Okay.
Shall we play a game?
I want to play a game.
You are one pathetic loser. This is the segment everybody has been tuning in for today. Everybody in the chat right now wants to hear us talking
Portal 2
about Robin's endurance race.
Ooh. Okay, well, let's get my boring bit out of the way, and then you can do your bit. How about that? How does that work?
Sure.
Does that work
I
for
think
you?
it works.
Yeah, that'll work. Okay, so let's talk about my boring bit then.
All right.
And,
He wasn't prepared for me to throw him that curveball.
I know. There we go. Okay, so this is Nürburgring, and on the screens is coming up now. And first, that was a community race that went a bit wrong, but it was great fun. Watch the video. It's the one with the Coke and the real thing. It's called on my channel. It's good.
Nice crash in the first
Yeah,
corner.
good
Who
commentary.
was that asshole?
Yeah. That was Steve Hughes. Anyway, yeah, so where am I? Okay, so
Okay, let's just talk about this real quickly, Rob.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. We
Oh,
have to talk about this.
because when
he
coming
literally
out,
goes off track into the corner, takes out half
Yes.
the race, and then he continues on like nothing was a
no,
problem.
it wasn't
He was
him.
fine.
It wasn't him.
Oh, it wasn't him.
No, so that was the guy
Okay.
in yellow. That was Laurent, who is actually
Okay,
the designer, Laurent Moral from France, and he got the tiniest touch coming into that first corner in the rear end from Steve Hughes, which threw the yellow Lamborghini into the wall, which bounced back out and hit loads of other people. And he had a lucky hit, which bounced him into the correct direction, and he carried on in second place.
Right.
So
Okay, that's
yeah,
what I saw.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So, but yeah, the Steve has got taken stick for that crash for a whole week now, and yeah, it's very funny.
Well deserved.
Yeah.
I mean, even for me to spot that, it says a lot.
So watch the commentary. It's quite funny what I've done with this one. So if you want to have a bit of a laugh about racing. So ACC this week we're into season 11, which my fourth season. We're into week 11 actually is next week. There's only two weeks to go. And guess where I am? I'm in Imola, or should we sponsored by Skype? I'm back to that circuit again. Do you remember the famous Skype call? Halfway through my race at the end of the last season, I'm back to that circuit. So I was there. I've had my race there. I did very well at it, thank you. And there was no Skype call. So, in my division, on the recording, it's a little annoying because it drowns.
We're
who-
talking about the
fine.
swoosh, Robin. So you have
Oh.
your very nice looking swoosh. Even when you mute it, it still cuts out audio.
I must
So-
learn not to talk when the swoosh is there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the problem is I don't know when the swoosh is coming either. So
Right.
When I change,
But yes.
do you know what we might have to do? We might have to bring this back. We might have to bring back the bell.
bring back the bell. I just killed the swoosh personally. But
So I went from 213th in my division up to 106th with 2 races to go. I need to, because I missed 2 weeks with holidays and bits and pieces, so I need to
Did you
complete
say
these.
Sick?
Sorry,
Did you say sick?
106th, 106, 106th with a lisp.
I just fucking with you, Robin. Continue on.
Yeah. So
it's good to have you back.
this week LFM is at COTA, which is a circuit of the Americas. We're in America, and that'll be do my race on Tuesday or Thursday. And our community race this week on Thursday night was Laguna Seca, and which is also American, Monterey. Beautiful dusty circuit, really really good. And I had a fantastic race. I didn't win it, but I had a fantastic battle with a guy called Chris Mogg, and his car has been done with the livery of Batman. And it was quite funny because he beat me. So it was Batman and Robin.
Batman beat Robin.
Yes. So that was kind of fun. After the podcast tonight at 11 o'clock, kick off 9:45. Be there for 10 to 11 for a briefing. We are at Silverstone. Bit of a practice race to get ready for the endurance race, the Red Ken endurance race at the end of this month. Okay. And when I was traveling, I played Portal 2 on my Switch again. Bit further on. Just fabulous. Still thoroughly enjoying that. Played it on the way there and the way back. I'm at the point now. And we take stick quite like Robin. I'm at the bit now where you have to make stuff with the potato. I'm getting the old bit. The old, really back into the 70s. Anyway, Portal 2. Play it. Kim, play Portal 2. You got to play Portal 2. So, yeah, that's what I've been up to. And I'm having a great time with it. And yes, I just love more time. Love time. Please, if you haven't subscribed to Bongo's Bits, my racing channel, Bongo Racing, please do so. It would be lovely to do that.
And while you're doing that,
subscribe to us.
To this channel.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, subscribe,
Two
share.
birds, one stone.
Yeah,
There you go.
exactly. One fell swoop. It's all in the family. Kim, speaking of all in the family, you cannot get away from cats.
No.
Literally. You have a cat. You have a cat on your shirt. You've got cats in the home. I thought the bell was supposed to be
Carry
okay
on.
to talk.
There you go. You shut up when the bell's going.
I did.
Can we swoosh when Greg talks?
All right. Kim, tell me about your latest adventure with your pussy.
Alrighty.
Don't you talk about Lizzo's tits ever again then. Don't say you didn't want to go there. Okay.
Alrighty. Anyway, on the what are we talking? Oh, Stray. Stray.
Just throwing you left and right. All right.
Right?
Yes.
I
Stray.
actually finished Stray yesterday, as a matter of fact. I have to go back and pick up a couple of achievements that are kind of easy to miss because I obviously missed them. But I finished it, and I was kind of worried because everything I had read online said the ending was bad. So I was, well, all right, it's not really a spoiler, so I'm not gonna go there. But and it might relieve some people, but I was afraid the cat was gonna die. And well, spoiler, not spoiler, the cat's not gonna die. So at least there's that. So
Jeez, okay.
I'm so relieved.
I
the
am.
Video game cat is not dead. Thank God for this.
hey, you know what? There are people out there that they can't handle things like that. So
I know. Yes, I see many of them
There's even
on
a setting
X.
on the right. There's even a setting on the game where you can when the cat gets attacked and like it flops over. There's actually a setting you can turn that off if you can't handle watching the cat die because you've messed up or something. So
I just when the cat dies, I want a little graphic of Robin walking in and kicking it over.
right. Knocking it right over. So anyway, I finished Stray yesterday. Like I said, I think I've got 3 little achievements that I can go back and clean up. But I'm happy with it. And I did see last week, I saw on Google or something that they're actually planning to make a movie out of Stray. It's like an animated movie. But I saw they were actually going to make a movie out of it. So I would watch it because it was neat.
It seems like it's ripe for a
Right.
movie, just the banana.
There you go.
Animals should
Anyway.
never die in video games. Come on, Sarah. Seriously? It's a pixel.
I know, but
It's a pixel. It might be
I
multiple
I
pixels.
bawled when my horse died in Red Dead Redemption. It was so bad I had to go back and restart wherever it was at so
And
my
kill it
horse
again.
wouldn't die.
Kill it again.
Yeah, right. So no, so the ending was good. It was a little bittersweet, but I can't tell you why exactly because then that would kind of be giving some of it away. And there's probably some people out there that are playing it now currently that don't want me to blow the ending. So I'll leave it at that. It's not a terrible, it's not a terrible ending.
But
like
then again,
everybody's-
you've already told them the cat won't die.
Well, yeah. So I mean, you got that to look forward to anyway. But anyway, Stray, it's good.
me.
All right. Stray is good.
It's good. And of course, Mark giving me flack because I hadn't actually finished it on the PlayStation yet, but I did finish it on the Xbox. But to be fair, I paid for it on the Xbox, so there's that.
In fairness, you didn't need to buy it on the Xbox. You
I
could have
didn't, but
played it
I
on
wanted,
the PlayStation.
okay.
Okay.
Whatever.
Let's talk about the real important thing right now. This is the most important question I want to ask the two of you. And also for the audience, by the way, Lord in the chat. Hey, Lord, it is a crowded chat room because everybody's dying to. This is the question they want to know.
All right.
What is the perfect banana? Robin, you hold up your banana. So I think that is almost perfect ripeness. I don't like a green banana.
No, it's a bit hard.
A little bit of brown coming into it is perfect.
Yeah, a little bit, but not when it's all like sweet, mushy.
Yeah. No, yeah, perfect. See, you see the little brown spots there? That tells me the sweetness is coming in. That banana should die.
This is my friend banana, and I don't know what
that banana will be eaten after this podcast. I'm sure.
Energy banana. CP Matthews in the chat, and his dog died.
Greg just feels like killing things, apparently.
His dog died in BG3, and his corpse remained in the camp until I finished Act 1. Will flip me. Oh, I kept on watching
Christopher Matthew in the house.
I just hate hearing the sound of an injured animal. Well, you just give Kim a call. She'll soon put it out of its misery.
Actually, is that more your thing than mine? But whatever.
This is true, Robin. You do have the history.
I do.
I think you have several cats to your collection. A couple chickens.
Roosters. Yeah.
Yep.
Maybe
Roosters.
rabbits?
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah. My first wife.
Yep. Rabbits.
Yep.
Anyway,
any dogs?
No, just my first wife.
Robin?
Just
okay.
Anyway, I also played a little Call of Duty this weekend. I finally got above Anthony's level, so I am now level 151, I think.
There you go.
And he's still behind at like 148, so I'm sure he'll catch up, But I have, it was me and Boomer and Tony and Sarah. So we
brilliant.
we did a little cross
triumphant return.
Yeah, so it was fun. I enjoyed having Sarah back. So
was Sarah doing? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it wasn't Sarah. Was Sarah doing some heavy lifting recently, clearing a place out and throwing lots of stuff into a skip? Was that you, Sarah? Am I mistaken? The photographs I seen on Facebook. Well, maybe it wasn't you. Maybe it was somebody else. You can tell me in the chat. Okay. So
that was it for me. So what about you, Greg?
All right. Okay. We did get in a little Halo session on Wednesday. I was able to carve out some time. Had a nice little play session. Martin, myself, and Robert. We did not see Lewis during our play session. Work crept in, so he wasn't able to hang out. And we blame all of our losses squarely on Lewis's shoulders.
Right.
But it was a mixed bag.
As you should.
Some great, some not so great. I kept, I held the fort down, leader of the pack. Rob, it was Snoogans for, you might know him as Snoogans instead of Rob, but he really was off his game. It was pretty horrible. So, but fortunately Martin and I were there. We held up the team. Yeah. But okay, let's talk about Starfield because that really is what I've been playing.
Was the fort floating away?
I'm sorry, what?
Was the fort floating away?
Was the fort floating away?
Yes.
No idea what we're talking
about. You held the fort down.
Oh,
is there a problem with gravity and forts in America?
Yes, we do have a problem with gravity. I guess I could talk now. Yeah. Okay. Starfield. Let's talk about Starfield. There's a bit of a love-hate with this game. Inventory management is still cumbersome. And I just think there's some UI things they could have done that would have been much better. But this game still has its hooks for me because it is, I really see it. It's kind of a combination of Fallout because of the gun side of it, but Skyrim in space is really the way I would kind of equate this. I spent literally about 2 hours building a ship on, was it Thursday, Friday? I think it's Friday. About 4 o'clock, started playing. 6 o'clock rolls around. I'm like, I just wasted 2 hours of my life just doing nothing but building ship. The shipbuilding is actually pretty intuitive. I actually like it. they have, it's all the kind of snapping together. So you pick your different parts,
Lego.
and on screen it will show you visual cues of where it can connect or can't connect. So if you pick a part that can't connect to one that you've already put in place, you'll see clearly it's not going to work. And then it has a flight check system where basically it runs through a diagnostic of the ship you've built, and it'll point to errors that you have in the ship build. Things like weapons not being assigned to one of the different weapon buttons will draw an error, but you can build a ship without all of your weapons in place and still launch it. You'll see the error, and it basically is letting you know, hey, you're missing some weapons. It can get a little tricky in terms of determining pathways within the ship. The cockpit always has to have a pathway into the crew compartment as well as the docking station, and that gets a little tricky to negotiate, especially when you're trying to build a certain look and feel to a ship. But overall, just the shipbuilding part of it, I just was having a blast just experimenting and trying to build different things. And I finally built a custom ship. I've named it the Justified. So it's the UNSC, but I kept a little Halo-ness in that. So the UNSC Justified for my character, Raylan Givens. So if you know the show Justified, you will know that. Yeah. Speaking of Justified, by the way, I didn't have this much story time. I wrapped up
the
Justified City Primeval.
Good.
Really good.
Good. Can't wait.
Very much enjoyed it, and it leaves the door open
for another
to future, but no promises of future.
And also, when you started to talk about space, I watched a movie last night as well, and you reminded me of it, and I recommend it to everybody. It's a bioptic. It's called A Million Miles Away. It has Michael Pena in it, and it is the story of a astronaut called Jose Hernandez, who is immigrant, whose family picked your vegetables that you ate on your table, picked your food, and very, very, very poor. And he wanted to, a teacher inspired him, with 1969 space, the moon, that inspired him. And he applied to NASA about 20 times every year.
Okay.
And during that time, he learned to scuba dive, learned how to fly, learned Russian, got a job as an engineer, done all this stuff until he eventually, it's real life, succeeded, and he went up on one of the last flights in the space shuttle. Wow. The flight after Columbia, the one that came back and disintegrated on its way back in. The next flight, he was on it, and it's not fast movie, but it's a beautiful, beautiful story. A Million Miles Away, well worth a watch.
A Million Miles Away. I will have to check that out.
Yeah, really good, very interesting. Anyway, sorry.
Okay.
Yep.
Space. Shipbuilding. It's a great component to this game. I have not tried to build my own habitat. But that is a whole other component, and I'm assuming it's going to be similar.
Okay, all right.
To how the shipbuilding is.
I get it. You build a ship. So what is the game then? What is the game in a nutshell? And what's on the back of the box?
All right, in the back of the box, you are playing a character that is pulled into a group called the Constellation. God, what the hell's the name of the group you're part of? Anyway, you're trying to discover these artifacts that's leading to a bigger secret. And honestly, there's a lot to this game. I don't know what that bigger secret is.
Okay,
but these artifacts are the driving piece to it. You're going out in search of finding these artifacts to bring them back and discover this bigger secret. Along the way, you will meet other factions, other characters. You can join certain factions. It's very similar to Fallout or Skyrim for that fact.
Okay.
The Thieves Guild, the Brotherhood. And you'll get certain, kind of incentives or perks for joining some of these different factions. There's weapon modding and crafting. There's armament stuff. Interestingly, and this is just a side note to the armor stuff, all of the the weapons have skins available to them, except for you can't find any skins in the game, with the exception of the those that bought the game ahead of time.
Okay.
There's a certain Constellation skin that you can load.
skins will
There's
be
no
available.
other skins found in the game so far. So I don't know if that's something that they're going to release eventually, but for now, it's missing. The core gameplay is solid. And you still will get little hints of jank here and there. This is a Bethesda game after all. It's a very big open world environment kind of game. Although the way they handle environments in this game, as opposed to say Skyrim, Skyrim, you were just on the continent and you could just go kind of anywhere.
Ooh.
Here, the planets and different environments, you'll load into them. And so they handle it with some small loading screens as opposed to it just being this seamless open world. Space travel also is interesting because technically once you're up in space, you can fly to another planet or whatever, but you're going to want to use fast travel. Fast travel is the key to almost everything in terms of going someplace. Otherwise, it'll literally take you like 7 hours to fly from like Earth to Pluto or something. And that's 7 hours real time. It's just going to be a boring flight in space. Wow. So you don't want to do that. They made fast travel for everything. I don't have a big hang up over that. A lot of people wanted this to be, more simmy in that you could fly down to the planet.
Right.
You can't fly down to the planet. You pick a landing spot, and then it goes into a little quick cutscene, and then you're on the planet's surface.
Okay.
Same thing for leaving orbit. You launch your ship, you get out of orbit, and it's all cutscene driven.
So I do hear that you can get lost in all the little side missions, but the way to play this game straight away is to follow the main story.
Yes. Yeah. And so they have built in New Game Plus into the game. So once you complete the story, you can come back to the game. You will have all of your perks and skills in place, but all of the loot, all of the ships, everything you've accumulated, you will not have.
Okay.
And you'll, in a sense, kind of be replaying the game. However, in the New Game Plus, they will let you skip through or skip past all of the story mission stuff, so you can just focus in on all of the side quests and different faction quests.
Okay.
It's a big game.
Mm-hmm.
There's some really good side quests. There's also some that are just kind of, they're there, right? They're not gonna be
fetch quest.
Fetch quest, exactly. Overall, writing is solid. An NPC voice acting can be fantastic, and then when you're talking to certain shopkeepers, it's going to be pretty pedantic. It's going to be like, okay, that was not that great. I stand by I said this game was right around an 8.5 for me.
Yeah, I
think that's where it should fall.
Okay, well, that's pretty good.
It has moments of being brilliant, and then it has moments of frustration, and so. Loot, we all were having this big discussion in the chat, or at least as I recall, we were having a big discussion in the chat, but the chat has gone crazy over this game. And this is in our WhatsApp chat, but loot is ever present. And if you are a collector of loot, because if you see it and you can grab it, you want it, you're going to drive yourself crazy. At some point, you have to start looking past things like pens and paper cups, styrofoam cups laying on the ground. They might have a value of something, but they're not worth picking up.
Because you can't offload them?
Well, so you do have encumbrance in the game, so you will get weighed down. It won't stop you from moving like some encumbrances happen. So you can be over encumbered. It will slow your progress in terms of being able to run. It will also impact fast travel. So you can't fast travel while you're encumbered.
All right.
But you have companions. You can always give them gear.
There's a robot following this guy about on the screen at the moment. Yeah, a robot.
Yeah, a robot. You can give him the stuff. And then also your ship has a cargo hold. So you can get back to the ship and you can just throw a bunch of shit in the ship and you're good. I think overall the systems work. There's some refinement that needs to happen. I'm sure there's going to be some patches, especially for the UI. And God knows we're having a ton of things just kind of going through. Hate the cutscene to land. Puts me off playing. No Man's Sky did it so much better. No Man's Sky is a very different game. And that is the reality. I think a lot of people wanted this to be No Man's Sky from the ship space part of it. but this just isn't. And so this is going to have much more story heavy elements to it than No Man's Sky ever has. But on the flip side, No Man's Sky does have the being able to just take off from the planet side and just right up into space, and you're out in space, and it's cool. It is what it is. So
you bought the Super Duper Elite edition. Was it worth the money?
Well, it was like, so for $30 you got early access premium edition, and I thought, you know what the hell, why not? And so I picked that up, and then nicely Mark also got that early access because of my ability to not fend off spending money. 6 days early access. Do I really need it? I probably could have waited, but at the end of the day, I was happy to have gotten a jump start on the game, spent some time with it, and then the game launched worldwide. Again, single player game, so there's no need for multiplayer. It does an online check, if I remember correctly. I don't know what else to say. I like the game. I'm enjoying my time with it. It is a time sink kind of game. Again, there's just these little facets where you'll get sidetracked, like the shipbuilding part of it. I first time around when I went to the shipyard, I thought, I'll do this later, and I bypassed it and didn't even bother looking at it. Came back to it, and I was just like, well, let me play around with this just a little bit. And 2 hours later, I'm like, holy crap. So the other things you can do, you can, in space, you can attack a ship and board it and literally kill the crew of the other ship and take over their ship. And the thing about that is then you have to be able to, if I remember correctly, you have to then register that ship to make it legal.
Yeah, but you're killing animals. You can't kill people. Is that not worse?
Well,
yeah,
maybe. It is funny how in life we look at animals and hold a different level of concern over. And I saw a video about a deer hunter was coming back. He had a deer strapped to his truck, and he was in the neighborhood, and the dad and the son came up and confronted him over being a deer hunter. And they're like, why did you kill this deer? And the son was really distraught over the deer. And he was just explaining, I kill it, but I'm going to eat the deer.
Right.
I do eat. And it just wasn't equating. The kid was looking at this deer like it was Bambi.
Yeah,
Bambi can't die.
Gotta take him to
Godzilla.
That boy to a farm.
Yeah. Well, that was actually what this guy said. He's like, do you eat hamburgers? Do you know where cows, get slaughtered?
Anyway, good. So I have it downloaded.
All right.
That's as far as I've got.
Fire it up. Just know the tutorial is going to be a little bit slower pace. It kind of does just like Skyrim. It walks you through this opening intro that will eventually get you to the character creation aspect of it. That's you kind of verifying who you are. And then it further walks you into the game. The problem I think this game suffers from most is the tutorials. There's not a lot of hand-holding tutorial in the beginning of the game, especially around a lot of the more in-depth elements like weapon modding, researching things, that kind of thing. All of that
needs a guide.
Is tucked away, and there's just no good way they handle it. And so you're going to feel overwhelmed for a moment. It's just like, holy crap, there's so much to this game. What do I need to focus on?
Venison nachos.
Bam. So, Verizon nachos. I'm not sure what that, or venison nachos.
Verizon.
That properly. I was like, Verizon nachos. What the hell's
what?
that? Venison nachos. Yes, venison nachos.
Cool.
Anyway, Starfield, fun, enjoying it, recommend it.
So you don't think it's boring?
No, I don't think it's boring at all. I enjoy my time with it. I will say that intro can be a little bit of like, okay, when are we getting to like the craziness? And it has those moments of craziness in that intro section. There's a firefight you will get into fairly quickly, but it still feels a little drawn out. And once that firefight's done, then you just feel like, okay, well, what now? And the what now is just like the world just expands and opens up, and it's like, whatever you want. So anyway, that's it. I'm done. Starfield. That's really all I played.
Here is the fucking news.
Unity is in the news. It really is. It is. And
it is, Robin.
There's not
this
a lot
is actually a big deal.
There's not a lot of Unity about it.
This.
Absolutely. I mean, Unity it had to close 2 of its offices and cancel a planned town hall meeting, as you do, following a death threat after they made an announcement of changes on how they will charge for the engine. Oh my goodness, we're going to actually charge for something that you use to make money. Starting in January.
Don't make light of this. Don't make light of this. This is that. Death threats aside, the death threats are ridiculous, but this is actually a really big deal. Read through this, and the ramifications become kind of clear. Starting in January 2024,
the Unity runtime fee will apply to games that meet a minimum revenue threshold and have passed a minimum lifetime install count. So if it's not making money. Okay. The announcement sparked outrage among some members of the development community who said the new fee structure was ill-conceived, unfavorable to game makers, and could be open to abuse. Developers
quit. Stop right there real quick. Part of this is that the lifetime install count. So they're basically saying it's free up until you hit this install count, and once you go past this install count, then we're going to charge you for the game, for the engine. The install count includes things like Game Pass. So suddenly people might just be installing this because it's on Game Pass. They may not actually be playing it, but they potentially get charged for it on the back end as developers because Unity sees, oh, you had 200,000 installs, including Xbox Game Pass or PS Now. And they're like, sorry, not PS Now, PS Plus Premium. And they're like, but we didn't have, 200,000 people playing the game. They just installed it but never started it. So this is where developers really got up in arms.
So the game has been out for 3 years and it's had 1 million installs. Are they? What you're saying is they're going to start to retrospectively charge them for that?
I don't think on retrospectively, no, but I think any new games with this new change in revenue stream, I think that it only could apply to those that newly apply the engine to a new game.
Again, if it's a very popular game, it's making money. So if it's below a minimum,
let's say
revenue?
This, Robin. Let's say you launch Stray on Xbox into Game Pass, and a lot of people on Game Pass download the game, but they don't actually play it. It's just part of Game Pass. They're like, oh, I'll download it. They never get to it. They never play it. Unity sees the downloads and they will charge them for it. But let's say out of the 200,000 people that downloaded the game, only 5,000 people actually played it. Unity says
I can buy a game and never play it.
So Unity would say you have 200,000 people that have downloaded this game and you need to be charged for 200,000 people as opposed to the 5,000 people that actually played the game.
Depends how much the fee is.
Exactly. And that's where, again, part of this was the fee structure and how it's going to be levied. So the developers became pretty outraged over this.
A death threat.
I don't know if that was from a developer or from just somebody, some crazy kook gamer. I'd like to think it was some crazy kook gamer.
Yeah, that'd be my guess, yeah.
But yeah, so the good news is I think some of this outrage, though, is potentially they're going to have to address things like Game Pass or charity bundles for that fact. So, you offer your Unity game for charity and you're giving it away for free to help support cancer. Unity is saying, oh, yeah, but you had 200,000 downloads for this charity giveaway. So we're going to charge you for that.
It depends on the fee. It totally depends on the fee. If it's a $5 per game and they make £10 profit out of a game, that's a lot. But if it's £1 a game, fair enough. Yeah, I get it. So anyway, they have attempted to clarify the terms of his plans and addressed some of these concerns, but it's made no indication that it intends to back down. So there's fees coming, no matter what people say.
Yeah, so we shall see. And this is going to be interesting because if these fee structures stay the same, a lot of developers basically said they will dump the Unity engine and move over to other engines. And this will also have ramifications for games that are potentially coming out where maybe these developers say it won't be worth coming out if this is going
No,
to be the
it'll
fee
just
structure.
make games more expensive. The developers will add an extra 5 or 10 or 50 quid or whatever it is to each game, and they'll charge Microsoft more, and we'll all pay for it down the line somewhere. But I don't know how Unity works. You know, if it was completely free, you can understand somebody wanting to get some money for the stuff that they do. So
yeah,
you know, I see both sides. It's a business thing too. So I'm a horrible man.
You are.
Sony had a state of play this week, believe it or not, and from what I can hear, it was a whole pile of regurgitated stuff that was you know, we have a list of stuff that was here. You know, there was Roblox is coming.
Real fast before we get to that, Lewis said one clarifying point in Unity that for subscriptions like Game Pass or PS Plus, that they would charge Microsoft or Sony the fees for the downloads.
Okay.
The problem with this, once again, is that Microsoft then in turn or Sony is going to look at that and be like, is it worth us bringing in these games now, these, you know,
freebies,
indie developers, if we're going to have to pay these extra fees just for people potentially downloading the game? So it has big ramifications across the industry. All right.
There you go.
Continue.
Yeah, I don't know even how to tackle this because there's nothing in here of really of substance. I mean, they had the state of play of where they are right now. You know, the wonderfully weird walking sim baby steps toddles into PlayStation next year.
Yeah, let's just walk through all the games that got announced.
Okay.
You know, we'll give Sony their due. They had a state of play. People were anxiously awaiting the state of play, Robin. It had been since June.
Okay.
People are like, oh, they're going to have another state of play. Here it is. This is the state of play we had all been wanting. It's like I'm being scolded by a teacher. Shut up! Sit down. So they came forward with this state of play, and honestly, it was like a wet fart. It just, I was expecting something from this, and then, you know, kind of right before they said, well, it's going to be third-party partners and games that you already know, and it really was. The only thing that really I think was relevant to come out of this is, I have no desire to play Avatar after seeing what I saw. Roblox, obviously, finally coming to PlayStation.
I always thought it was there.
They had some VR stuff. Helldivers 2 has been delayed apparently into next year. Spider-Man 2 still coming. Still looks great. Ghostbusters VR game with really bad voiceovers. So, and God, please, developers, stop putting fake in-game voiceovers.
Oh yeah, we're playing. Yeah, you go over here. You do this.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
They did it on multiple games in this state of play, and it just falls so flat.
That's an advertising agency that aren't gamers, that thinks this is what gamers are like. Yeah.
We got to show how fun it is to play together. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. It's still coming, I guess. Yay. I don't know. I'm just not a Final Fantasy guy. Foam Stars. Open beta. The Splatoon ripoff with Suds.
Okay, it does look like Splatoon.
I don't see how this game I don't even know why they greenlit this game.
Yeah, but Splatoon is such a fabulous game, but it probably doesn't have the following that it could have on a big platform like this as well. So that's what they're banning into.
Fair enough. What if it was made in Unity? And then what was Honkai Star Rail? That is coming October 11th.
Honk.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know. I look at this collection of games that came from this announcement, and it was just like, this was not terribly exciting for the fan base. I mean, there's nothing outside of Ghostbusters. I'm sorry, not Ghostbusters.
And that's VR. Yeah.
That is VR. They had 2 VR games, Resident Evil 4, Ghostbusters. I think those are the only 2 VR games.
Avatar might be brilliant. It might be like Horizon Zero Dawn, all that sort of stuff. It might be like that. No,
I'm sure it will be. I think I'm over Avatar though in general.
I couldn't watch that second movie. I fell asleep.
Yeah, After watching the second movie, and I did watch the second movie, I was just kind of like, it felt like it was the first movie all over again, just in a slightly different setting with water.
And Spider-Man's on screen.
Anyway.
There you go. That was that.
Yeah.
Okay. I should really sort this out. Okay, Ubisoft plans to close mobile studio Ubisoft London, formerly known as Future Games of London. The studio was originally known as Future Games of London and was founded in 2009, acquired by Ubisoft. It focused on mobile games best known for Hungry Shark, which I never played, which has received over 1 billion downloads in a total to date. Ubisoft has now decided to fully shift development to the series to the Catalan studio. This resulted in the closure of Ubisoft London, which will affect 54 of its wonderful staff.
Yeah, so I saw that. I thought, let's include some sad news. Why not?
Yeah.
We did have the state of play. That was sad enough, but
I was gonna say that wasn't enough.
Yeah, I hate seeing a studio close. It makes me also think of Embracer Group and what they're doing right now. That is just a train wreck.
Well, yeah,
we don't
because
have
what is
that.
it? They say Gearbox might be up for sale, so
Yeah, it's all speculation at the moment. So
right.
But yeah, the whole notion of consolidation is in theory great at times, but then you have situations where it's like we're going to consolidate down internally as well. And we're going to start laying people off. Embracer Group, though, I think that's going to be a disaster. I think the Gearbox is just the start, and it's going to get much worse before it gets better. They bought a ton of studios for dirt cheap and had no real plan on what to do with them or how to maintain them. So, anyway. All right.
There you go.
Yeah.
And that's your news.
Woohoo! Kim,
Yes.
we got some new games coming out.
We do. We have a few, actually. There was a lot more this week than I figured there would be. So, yeah. Alrighty. For your new releases for September 17th through the 23rd, we have Gloomhaven for the PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch on September 18th. Actually, that one looks kind of interesting. I don't know much about it, but it does look interesting. One that I'm sure there's quite a few looking forward to, Lies of P will be out on the PlayStation 5, the Xbox Series X and S, the PS4, Xbox One.
I did not
PC.
pee on the toilet.
That's great to know. PC and Mac.
Lies of P.
Right. Also coming to Game Pass on September 19th. Mortal Kombat 1, which I'm sure does Pete like Mortal Kombat, or is that Street
I've been
Fighter?
hearing good things about this game.
Right.
A lot of people saying very good things in the previews.
Right. Anyway, Mortal Kombat 1, the PS5, Xbox Series X and S, Switch, and PC on September 19th as well. And I keep thinking this one should be out already, but whatever. Maybe it's getting a current gen redo or something. You Suck at Parking for the PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch, September 19th. One that I've already got downloaded. Party Animals for the Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, and PC, also on Game Pass, September 20th. Days of Doom, PS5, Xbox X and S, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, PC, September 21st. Another big one that I'm sure there's a lot looking forward to, Payday 3 for the PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PC, and I think, isn't it coming to Game Pass too?
Yep.
I don't remember.
Yep.
All right.
It's day one Game Pass.
Alrighty.
So was
September
Lies of P
21st.
for the record.
Well, yes, I mentioned that. And last but certainly not least, we have Resident Evil 4 Separate Ways DLC. I don't know, it was on the list, so I put it here. PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PS4, and PC on the 21st as well. And those are your new releases.
So I'm very curious about You Suck at Parking. I'm not sure what that is, but I'm going to have to check that out.
Right?
Just the name alone. Payday 3, I always wanted to like the Payday games.
Right.
But there's fundamentally inside of me, I have a hard time with this notion of robbing a banks and running out and killing cops.
Right.
It's also one of the problems I've always had with GTA, to be honest.
Is it more of a problem killing cats?
I don't have a problem with killing cats.
Oh.
I'd rather kill cats than cops.
Oh,
personally.
in a game, in a video game.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, you think about the A-Team and all the plants that they killed. They never killed people. They just shot pot plants. All right. They never. It was like stormtroopers, you know. But at least the pot plants didn't get it, and the stormtroopers. So what would you rather kill, a pot plant or cat? Anyway, moving on.
Well, in that case,
I'm gonna kill a pot plant, but all right.
Yeah.
So what's happening on Playdates then? I just want to try a thing here.
Stumping us for life.
Let me just try a thing here. I just want to try a thing. Hopefully, look at that. 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 No, yep, the voice didn't dip away. We have changed. We know Bell's retired.
Ah, yeah.
Wow.
The swoosh is dead.
Yeah, the swoosh is dead.
Long live the swoosh. Anyway,
Yeah, play dates.
play dates. Yeah.
It's our time to have fun with the community. So, Robin, Wednesday nights, I'm hanging out, playing some Halo.
Good lad.
8 p.m. in the UK-ish. Come join if you want to hang out and play.
Lovely.
All are welcome. We also attempted to do Friday nights. We were supposed to be playing Fortnite, but then Starfield happened because Mark was helping kind of lead the way on that.
Yeah.
And Mark, he's gone Starfield AWOL.
Right.
Yeah. Now, Robin.
Yes.
You need to get back in the groove after your recent run-in with the Nuremberg trials.
Oh yeah, well, straight after this podcast, in 20 minutes' time, I will be live, and I am at Silverstone for a 45-minute race with a pit stop. It's a bit later. Hopefully, we get some of the American guys. It's more. It doesn't matter. Yeah, hopefully there'll be people show. Mightn't be a big turnout because it is so late. The UK ones are the weeds. No, not the weeds. They just have to get up early in the morning, and it's too late, and they can't stick it like me. So that's tonight. So you'll get me on my YouTube channel then. And on Thursday we have a community race, and it's at Spa. We're running up that hill, and Thursday night 10 o'clock UK. And I will keep an eye out then for my LFM Championship race this week as well. So go to bongosbits.com, bongosbits.com, and you will see my calendar there, and some race reports for the races that have been, and links to how to get started, and some tips and tricks and all that sort of stuff, and how to contact me. So there you go.
Right. Okay. Kim, I have a question for you. Do you think as the podcast goes on during the course of a Sunday, as we near closer to Robin's next broadcast, if he starts to sweat a little bit, does he start to get a little nervous?
Yes.
I think so. Yes.
Yeah. He's just.
You can tell. You can tell. Because what happens is I switch down this form of OBS, and that screen gets switched off because I can't run 5 screens at once. So I have to disconnect one screen, get the other screens on there, drag everything over to that one. Anyway, it's sorted now.
Sounds confusing.
It is.
You
taking a while.
You should take Skype calls during this, I think.
Skype is no longer on that machine.
All right. Let's close shop.
Wow, the chat was cool tonight, wasn't it? Chat was cool.
By the way, shout out to the chat. Kim, let's just shout everybody out real fast. There's a lot of people.
Yes, we've had quite a few people in the chat today, which is nice. Boomer, Playing Skills, RCGC. I'm glad you're back, Sarah. Snoogans, Corzon, Lord, and CP Matthew.
Class.
All in the chat today. It was
Class.
nice.
Boomer, Lord.
It was the promise of good camera. That was the that's what brought them all back.
Imagine.
Robin.
Thanks, everyone.
Lovely to be back. Lovely to be here. I love this. I do really love this. I love it, love it, love it.
We love having you.
Thank you. That's
Most of the time.
Most of the time.
That's it? That's all you got to say? All right. Look, Kim, did you want to shout anybody else out?
Sorry,
besides?
Sarah, I killed a vegetable. Or is it a fruit?
Oh,
One
no.
banana. One banana was harmed during the filming of this podcast.
My question is, was the banana named Pedro?
Oh, that's a good game. That's a very good game. Anyway.
I have not played, but anyway.
At least he died with a smile on his face.
There you, and that's all we can ask for. So, no, not really. I hope everybody has a good week this week. Hopefully this week I'm not exhausted like I've been the last couple of weeks, because that shit's getting old. I'm only 45. This shit should not be happening already.
Yep.
But anyway, yeah, I guess that's it for me. Over to you, Gregles.
All right. I want to shout out Gary D. Felice.
Ooh.
Oh, boy.
Because I am currently kicking his ass in fantasy football.
Oh, I thought maybe it's because he thought Starfield was boring. So.
Oh, fuck that guy, Gary. I love him, but fuck him. All right. No, shout out to the community. Thank you all for being here. Come back next week. We will be back again.
Right.
It'll be some resemblance. We might even bring a Ginger along at some point. Pete is he's going through some rough times as he's winding down the job. But never fear, we will have the ginger back. We need to have that balance. Shout out to Robin. Shout out to Kim. Thank you both for being on the podcast.
Sure.
Always a good time. And I think that's it. I'm just gonna say have a great night and come back next week.
See you guys. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Overseas Connection podcast.